Welcome to True Wellness with Dr. D, the podcast where we explore what it takes to live with vitality, balance, and purpose. I am Dr. D, and each week I'll bring you powerful tools, inspiring stories, and expert insights to help you thrive in every area of your life. From health and wellness to mindset and navigating life's challenges, this podcast is your guide to creating a life of true well-being. Be sure to check the show notes and grab your free copy of the True Wellness Checklist so you can get started on your journey to true wellness right away. Now, let's get started. Okay, everyone, in a world where stress, burnout, and health struggles feel like the norm, what if the key to balance has been around for thousands of years? Ayurveda, often called the science of life, offers a timeless approach to healing and thriving in our modern world. But how does this ancient wisdom fit into our fast-paced, high-tech lives? Today, we're going to dive deep into Ayurveda with a special guest who has mastered the art of making it practical and doable. And she's so much fun. So if you've ever wondered how to create more harmony in your body and your mind, then this is the episode for you. So welcome everyone to True Wellness with Dr. D. And hello to our special guest, Monica. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Dr. D. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. So you guys, Monica Bloom is an enthusiastic Ayurvedic coach and speaker. And I mean, after living at the intersection of a stressful corporate job, a 3-hour daily commute, motherhood, and a side hustle, right? She became an expert at tucking Ayurveda neatly into this busy modern lifestyle. Monica has been blessed to teach, mindset, well-being, and high performance based on Ayurveda. And she's done it for big corporations all over like Deloitte and Genentech, Pandora, Vitamin T, Aquient, is that right? Aquient, there you go. Aquient, Airbnb, and even more. So Monica, we're super excited to have you today. Thanks for joining us.
I am so stoked to be with you today. We are going to have a good time and they're going to learn a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And this is such a fun topic because, people hear Ayurveda, we're going to talk about doshas, and don't worry, those of you who are like, what the heck is a dosha? But I know everyone's mind's going to be percolating like, what am I? And how does this impact my life? And you are going to see yourselves in your own lives and where there's things in balance and where there's things in out of balance. And that I think is so fun. So why don't we start, Monica? Tell us how did you even get into this? Because people are like, Ayur what? Ayur so my funny. Shirt?
It's so funny. Years ago, I bought the URL Ayur what?
Maybe you should use it.
It's going to expire. It's fine. But yes, so it's true. Like we've seen this word like Ayurveda. Maybe people have seen it. They don't know what it is, but they're like, I think it's good for me. I think. But, just so you know, I did the same thing. This was like years ago. So it was I believe it was 2007. I was in San Francisco and I was going through my own health renaissance, I guess. I called it Project Monica. And Monica, I hired a life coach, a therapist, an acupuncturist, an energy intuitive, a nutritionist. So I had 5 of them helping me. And in the midst of this, I was super depressed one day in my little apartment in San Francisco. And I was like, God, I just want to disappear and go to India on a yoga retreat. So I Googled it. And that was my solution to how crappy I was feeling. And so I Googled it. And then what I found was there's these huts on the beach and you'll get Ayurvedic massage. There's Ayurvedic foods. And I was like, what's that word? I know that word. I know this word. What is it? And so I Googled it. And what I found was a lot of very confusing things until I found one website that was like, Ayurveda is the science or knowledge of life. Ayurveda teaches us that one size does not fit all. Ayurveda is mind, body, spirit, and you can prevent disease as long as you know who you are. And we use the therapies based on nature because we are part of nature. And I'm not kidding you. I read for maybe 30 seconds and I just started crying. I put my head on the keyboard and I was like, oh my God, this is what I'm here for. I need to know this as fast as possible. I paced around my apartment and in 4 days later, I was enrolled in Ayurveda school.
I love that. What a great story.
Yeah. So
it changed your life, right?
Totally changed my life because here's the cool part. So, I had all those 5 helpers, which is amazing. We need our helpers, let's be honest. But what I found is once I started learning Ayurveda, I was like, I am my therapist. I am my nutritionist. I am my energy intuitive. You know what I mean? And I started to, I am my life coach. I know which directions I want my life to go. And I'm not saying those people were not useful, completely useful. And I still use some of them still.
Right.
But I was like, wow, I have all of this within me now because I understand Ayurveda and I understand really though myself and I trust myself because I trust that I don't have to follow a cookie cutter pathway, whether it's my career, whether it's my diet, whether it's my size, whether it's my mental, whether it's my stress levels, and other people are like telling me what I need to do. I knew that I could just stand strong in being me and knowing what I needed based on what I learned from Ayurveda. And that's what I want to teach people.
I love that. So let's just reiterate. So one of the key components here is understanding who you are and then the alignment with that with nature.
Yes.
Okay. How do we figure out who the heck we are? That's the age-old question, right? Who am I? Who am I?
Who am I? Please tell me. I don't know who I am. Well, first of all, we do know who we are. Like we, at our core, we know when we feel in our skin. We know when we feel in our element. We know when we feel like we're doing the things. Our body feels in flow. It feels loose. It feels strong. It feels happy. Our mind, our mood, all those things are happy, right? So that's the cues that you can look to within. But let's get down to the science of Ayurveda, shall we?
Yes, ma'am.
It's everybody's favorite part. And we're going to talk about the doshas really quick. So, okay, so I'm going to back up from the doshas out just a little bit to give you context. So the doshas are basically 3 energies. And these energies are within us, but they're also in the nature. So Ayurveda has a philosophy that says macrocosm and microcosm are the same. Meaning, if you go all the way out to the great giant universe, there's only 5 things that exist: space, air, fire, water, and earth. All the way out to the universe.
Okay.
All the way down to our planet: space, air, fire, water, earth. All the way down to our bodies: space, air, fire, water, earth, all the way down to our itty bitty teeniest little baby cells. The same 5 things. So same, it's all the same.
Yes.
And so what Ayurveda says, it's like, okay, so there's these 5 elements. And from those 5 elements are created 3 energies. And these 3 energies are the 3 doshas. Okay, so we have all 5 elements in us. We have all 3 doshas in us. The cool thing is that we have them in totally different combinations.
Uh-oh.
It's why you and I don't look like twins.
Oh, there you go.
But it's true because there is nobody who has ever been us before, and there is never going to be another us. So we're completely unique combination. So this is where it gets a little complicated, but it's not that hard. We're going to think loose. We're going to be loose about this, and we're going to just enjoy our little conversation here. So
doesn't have to be perfect.
No, life is not about that. So the 3 doshas, let's start with the first one. The first one is Vata dosha. Vata. Vata is made of space and air. So it's very subtle. And it is the energy of movement. Okay, so
Mhm.
Vata dosha is the energy of movement. In the body, it's responsible for moving everything. It's also responsible for sometimes making holes for things so that movement can flow through.
There you
Uh,
go.
Vata type people they talk a lot with their hands, they talk fast, walk fast, they're constantly busy, they're multitasking, they forget things, they're constipated, they have dry skin, they have frizzy curly hair, they usually have problems sleeping, they're usually in some kind of pain in some kind of way all the time, they usually complain, but you don't care because they're so fun and vibrant and joyful, and they're exuberant. They're
Mm,
vivacious, bubbly.
okay.
Let's just take that word bubbly for a minute. What are bubbles? Bubbles are filled with what? Space and air,
Sure. Yeah.
right? So they're effervescent, but they have certain health problems based on these space and airy qualities, like could be sleep problems, focus problems like ADD, like I said, the constipation and other things, right? So
Right.
Vata, though, is the king of the doshas because without it, the other two can't move. It's a very important dosha. So no matter what I say on your podcast today, I want everybody to note if you're totally confused, work on Vata first. And Dr. D is going to share a resource with you that I have for you today, so you can learn a little bit more about that. So don't stress now. Plus, you can always press pause and listen to this again.
Yes, it'll be right in the show notes, you guys. So wherever you're listening from, whether it's YouTube or I don't Spotify or wherever it is, it's in the show notes.
Yes. Okay. So that's the first dosha. Vata dosha is the energy of movement made of space and air. Now we're going to go to the next one, which is Pitta dosha. Pitta dosha is made of fire and water. So already the elements are totally different, right? And
Mhm.
this Pitta is the energy of transformation, where it transforms things. Vata's job is to move stuff. Pitta's job is to transform stuff and change one thing into the next. And I use this example quite a bit. It is if we had a log and we put the log on the fire,
Uh-huh.
what happens to the log?
The log becomes ash.
Log becomes ash. Is it anymore a log?
No, it's not a log anymore. It's now ash.
Ash. You can't even turn it into a log anymore. It's not like the air came along and blew the log down the block.
Yes.
It's different.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. So that's Pitta's job. So Pitta people are more, they have more sturdiness to them. They're more muscular. Vata people are usually skinny and they have thin skin and cracky bones and all that stuff. Pittas are more muscular. They are heated. They're the only dosha with the fire element in them.
Mm.
So they can tend toward the inflammation problems.
Hmm.
And they're leaders. They are usually like entrepreneurs, or they're also involved in sports, politics. They like to debate. They like to be right all the time. They're a little control freaky. They pay attention to the details. They're constantly sorting and figuring stuff out. And they glisten. They've got a glow with the fire and the water. My gosh, it's like the sun on the ocean.
Beautiful.
Yes. And so Pitta people will have different problems than Vata people because they're
Mhm.
different.
Yes.
So again, okay, Pitta, energy of transformation
Yeah.
made of fire and water. Now let's go to the third dosha, which is Kapha dosha. Kapha dosha is made of water and earth. Now look how dense that is.
Yeah.
Compared to Vata with the air and the space, now we're into mud, mountain,
Doesn't
ocean.
move.
Doesn't move. It doesn't move at all. I'm glad you brought that up because each one of these doshas have their own unique qualities, right? Vata's dry, cold, light, mobile, just like the wind. Pitta is hot, sharp, penetrating, a little bit more mobile, a little bit fluid. And in nature, Pitta is the sun. So
Mm.
now we're Kapha. Kapha is the energy of lubrication and structure. Oh, so much of our body is Kapha. There's physical structure there.
Yes.
And so Kapha type people are the caretakers, the nurturers, the construction workers, the farmers. They're the people that hold the glue together. And anybody that's listening, if you've ever said you're like, yeah, I'm the glue to my family. Without me, everybody'd be a mess. You're probably a kapha. If you're like that at work, you're probably a kapha. If things are going to fall apart, tornadoes are going to start, things are going to start on fire without you, you're probably a kapha. So let's see. So kapha people are the most sturdy. They have the most physical structure to them. They have faces of angels. Their eyes are nice and round. They got big teeth. Their skin is thick. They look young forever. This is where everybody is like, can I just be a kapha, please?
Yeah, right.
No, you cannot change your dosha. But this is the nature of them. And they tend toward the more weighted, slower, oilier, heavier, stickier problems like weight gain. They're a little bit couch potato-y. They are quite stubborn. So they're not going to be the type of person that's like, yeah, I'm game for it. I want to try something new. Vata will do that. They'll be like, yeah, I want to try something new. And then in 5 minutes, they'll forget what the heck they just committed to. Pittas will say yes to doing something new, but pittas will be like asking 10,000 questions before they decide if they're going to actually make that decision or not. And if they do it, they're doing it.
Yes.
Kaphas are like, I'll do it in my own time. Anybody want to do it with me? Anybody? Or maybe I just won't do it. They are always looking for harmony. Pittas do not like, I'm sorry, kaphas do not like conflict. Pittas love it. Pittas love to debate. Kaphas, not so much. Yeah. And so kaphas are the support. And those are the differences in the way they show up in our bodies and in the way that they can get imbalanced. Before we move on and talk about the next thing, I want them to know this. I want you all to know this. In Ayurveda, like increases like, which is not good. That's not good. So a Vata person who has a very Vata imbalancing lifestyle, for example, our phones are constantly mentally messing with us. Everything is fast on those things. Our computer screens are fast. It's false light. We rabbit hole. We lose our brains. There's too many YouTube videos recommending us to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, and things, ads showing up all over the place. And we think we got attached to that. We don't. And so that's one small example about how fast and light our lifestyles are. Which is why I said, if you're confused about any of these, or if you feel very Vata, but you're like, geez, but I used to feel more like a Pitta. Cool. Work on the dosha that feels most like you right now today. The biggest problem.
Yes.
And if you're in doubt, work on Vata, because we all have Vata problems. Okay. So going along with like increases like, which is not good. We want to use the opposites. If Vata is very speedy and light and cold and dry, we want to really focus on being a bit more slow and staying warm and doing more like meditation. And even our workouts, bring in some heavy weights instead of marathon running or all this fast like movement, jazzercise. People still do that.
Yeah.
And for Pitta's really got to be mindful of that heat. So they need to stay cool, both in their body and in their mind, because they can be stressed out control freaks. If it doesn't happen their way, they're going to carry the weight of the world on their shoulders because they're not trusting that other people can do it as good as they can.
Right.
So, and then there's kaphas, which need to stay light. And they're the ones that should be out there and moving and sweating and dancing and making it fun and eating lighter foods and eating less food because they don't need it. They're already structured.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Let's talk. Can we talk about food?
Yeah.
I think people love food and they're like, okay, so what food should I make? What food works best for my dosha?
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good question. Okay. So for Vatas, now with that like increases like and opposites balance, if you're light, cold, dry, there is a quality called rough. And and mobile. Did I say that already? Anyways, so the food, think for Vatas, comfort food.
Mm.
It needs to be warm, saucy, grounding. Any vegetables or whatever should come from the ground
Mm.
because Vatas way up in the air. So neat, right? Even where the foods come from depends on even where they grow on the tree. You'll get hints from that from nature, which is why they were doing this 5,000 years ago. They're
Right.
like, I need to stay grounded. Let me dig up some beets and potatoes, sweet potatoes, all that good stuff that comes from the ground, lower things. What's not great for Vata is super fibery things, or
Okay.
like cruciferous vegetables,
Okay.
because it's too light. Fiber is like light and puffy. So Vatas tend toward having digestive problems anyways. They're not great with the digestion. They're always gassy and distended and farty and constant everything. So to help that,
Salad.
to help that, if they do have some kind of salad, make sure that it's not in the winter when it's cold. They will do better when it's warm outside. And they could do like a beet salad with some fennel shavings on it or something like that with a drizzle of olive oil and maybe some balsamic, some salt and pepper, something like that. Do you see what I did? I took the roots and I put them in and I added the oil because they're
Yeah.
so dry.
Yeah.
So saucy, oily, grounding, warm always. They cannot go wrong with that. If they're munching on crackers, broccoli, coffee, what else? Even quinoa might not satisfy them very much. They're going to be like, yeah, I need some Sour Patch Kids because now I'm too healthy. It's a thing. So Vatas need that. So for pittas, now remember I said pitta is the dosha, only dosha with fire in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fire relates directly to our digestive fire, which
Yeah.
in Ayurveda we call Agni. Okay, but it could be maybe metabolism kind of, but it's not exactly the same, but kind of.
Okay.
So they got strong digestive fire. They can kind of eat whatever they want, whenever they want. But here's their problem: they stress eat.
Mm.
So pittas stay pretty middle of the road as far as their weight goes and as far as food goes. They're pretty middle of the road as long as they stay active. Pittas really need to sweat to get out that extra heat.
Okay.
So their foods, they can get away with the fiber and the broccolis and the salad. They can kind of eat whatever they want because they've got a constant fire. That's just like, yeah. And they're the people that'll raise their hands and they'll be like, oh yeah, I can always eat. And they can. But it starts to become a problem when their mind takes over and they're looking to soothe themselves from stress.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they just are like, whatever, chocolate croissants, yeah, fried chicken, like anything they can get their hands on so that they feel better, less heated, less stressed. Okay.
Right.
And so Vatas will do best with 3 meals a day. Usually, sometimes they need a fourth. If they don't have a fourth, sometimes at the end of the day, like a little tiny, maybe little rice or something before bed, sometimes they can wake up hungry at 2 a.m. Vatas cannot hold a lot of food at one time. That's why they snack. So they eat like 8 meals a day, but that's not great because it's too much motion.
Right.
So 3 meals a day for Vatas at the right time should be warm, maybe a fourth little something before bed if hunger is waking you up at night. We want to make sure you sleep. Pittas, 3 meals a day, great. They will probably need fruit for snack, or they can have veggies for snack if they get hungry. Kaphas, totally different. Totally different. Kaphas they should be eating the vegetables. They should be doing the vegetarian. Meat's going to be too heavy for them. Really quickly on meat, where does meat come from? It comes from animals. So if you think about the size of an animal, the size of a cow or the size of a pig, a Vata can handle that because they're so skinny and lightweight. They need the strength of the animal to keep them strong. Kaphas, no.
Mm-hmm.
Don't need it. They're great with vegetables. They are great with light grains. They are great with some fruits, not too sweet, but they're great with like different kinds of fruits. And they really like spice. Kick it in the pants, Kaphas. Like let's add some spice to your foods. And their food should also be warm because they do not also have the fire element in them. But the thing about kaphas is they could eat once or twice a day and they'd be fine.
Mm,
So they tend to overeat out of socialization.
okay.
Kaphas love to be with the people. They love the people. Their arms around the people. They're like, I just love people, and they love food. Kapha rules the mouth. It's all the what's it called? Saliva in
Uh-huh.
there. That's kapha. As soon as a food enters the mouth, kapha comes in, and then we salivate, and we're like, yummy, yummy. And that's kapha's job, is help us be nourished.
Right.
But it can be a problem if if they overdo it. And mostly kaphas love people so much so that they will choose to eat with their vata and pitta friends that have completely different digestions out of the socialness of it. And then they're like, why do I feel so heavy? Why do I gain weight? And they don't. That's why.
Uh-huh. That's where we all wish we were vatas, right?
Yeah, that's what we wish we were about. Like my roommate in college, she was like 6 feet. She was like 120 feet. She was like model, beautiful, thin, everything. And she just cranked down like burgers and fries. And I'd be like, why can't I do that too? But then I would work out. Like I do like leg exercises and hip. I'd be doing floor exercises in our apartment. And she tried it one time and she cried.
Oh.
She said, I'm never going to be muscular, Monica, and this hurts my bones on the floor to do these things. And she cried. And I was like, oh, honey, like, but you're padding. I don't know. And, anyways, that's real differences of yeah, it's why somebody can eat a lot of different stuff and never gain weight. And it's why, like a kapha type person, they don't need a lot of food. They're already built. They're already built. They're going to do better with the moving and the spicy foods and like warm, yummy, like make it tasty, but you don't need a lot of quantity. And for sure, these not a lot of oils or fats.
Yes.
They're already oily. Remember, they look good forever.
Yes. Yes. You touched a little bit upon movement, right? How do we know, based upon our dosha, what is the best movement for our body, right? Because people are always like, well, how should I exercise? What kind of exercise should I do? So we know that kapha's got to move, right? But they're the hardest to actually get started and get moving. What about everybody else?
Yeah, good question. So vatas are going to want to move. That's all they're going to want to do. They're just going to want to be zip, 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 zip. And then they're going to wonder why they're in pain and something hurts. Vatas will want to do at least some kind of structured exercise, whether it's yoga, whether it's weights. They do need to sweat. Listen, every one of us needs to sweat a little bit every day, says Ayurveda, just to get enough sweat in our pits, on our nose, on our brow, because sweat, according to Ayurveda, is a waste product. Along with poop and pee. So poop, pee, sweat are considered the three malas, or the three waste products in Ayurveda, and we need to expel each of them every day. So no matter what your dosha, make sure you sweat a little bit.
Yes.
And don't sweat about the details. So vatas will want to do more of the grounding exercise. Like I said, yoga, weight training, great. They can get a little sweaty also. Just don't over cardio. You don't need it. Pittas they can do anything except exercise in 90 degrees in the sun. So for pittas, their timing is really important. They need to exercise earlier in the morning or like afternoon, evening when the sun is not hot, because they'll get overheated. They're going to be naturally prone toward like athletics and sports, probably, or at least like physical stuff. Pittas can kind of do anything they want. I would just say no hot yoga.
Yeah. When you're fiery hot yoga. Whoo.
You would be surprised. The pittas are like, I want a challenge. I'm going to go to hot yoga. And I'm looking at their face and I'm like, well, you have red hair and pink skin and freckles and like light blue eyes. I can see you're a total fireball, but you're going to go do that. And then they don't feel so good.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And then kaphas are all about sweating, but the thing with kaphas, they're so stubborn. They really don't like to move and they really like people. So it's really best for them to get a buddy and do something fun like dancing, or find an online teacher that really is inspiring to them, that they really like, so they can do their Zumba class for 15 minutes every day. And that's all you need. You don't need to overdo the exercising thing. But the problem is we're so sitting all the time with our lifestyles.
Yes.
right? So that becomes a different problem. If we're sitting for, 8-10 hours a day working, 15 minutes is definitely better than zero, and it will change you. But I would still encourage, like, do that and then take a lunch break. Go for a 15-20 minute walk after lunch.
Yes.
Or before dinner or after dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that help?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the big topic, I think, for a lot of our listeners, right? Because they're high-powered, successful women, right, is stress. So how do we manage, like, based on our dosha, based on Ayurveda, how do we manage stress? Because prevalent.
It's this is where we go into my favorite part of Ayurveda, which is the mind.
Okay.
If I could just work on the mind, because the mind is the control center, it rules everything else. The body follows what the mind does. Mind, body, spirit all go together. So they're a trio. You can't leave one out without affecting the other two. So when I was working in San Francisco, I had a 3-hour daily commute. It was at least an hour and a half to work and then at least an hour and a half back. And I had a 2-year-old and I totally burnt out. And I was running a new team. I was running a startup division of a company. So I had a team beneath me and had to grow this from the bottom up. So everything was stressful and I cried a lot on the bus. And I couldn't figure out why. And then I remembered, in order to change the mind, you must move the body. And so, so I started these 10-minute runs in the morning. And I was like, I am not working out anymore. And I'm used to doing that. And I set my watch for 5 minutes. I grabbed the dog. This is the next morning at 5:30 in the morning. And we ran for 5 minutes and I turned around and I ran her back. And it was a 10-minute run. And I was used to running every day because the freaking bus picked up at 8:02 and I had to drop my daughter off at 8:00 at daycare. Daycare opened at 8:00. The bus picked up at 8:02, 3 blocks down. I was freaking sprinting every morning. And I even taught her, and it makes me almost cry, I taught her to push mama out the door because I couldn't say goodbye.
Oh.
And if I missed that bus, I missed my morning meeting with all the other leaders that were successful, that had been leaders already. So I was already sprinting a little bit to try and make that bus every morning. So I did this 10-minute run and I came back and I was like, oh, I have color in my face. I feel a little happy. Okay, good stuff. And so I'm still doing it. My daughter is now 13. She's no longer 2. I still do these mornings runs. And for all of you people out there that have the stress and the high performance, you need to start your day with me first.
Yes.
Never forget that. Me first. Before her little eyeballs opened, I knew that I had to get outside and I had to get a little bit sweaty. 10 minutes, you guys, changed freaking everything. Because then my mind opened and I was like, what else could I rig for 10 minutes? So I called daycare and I was like, hey, you guys open at 8. I was like, the bus picks up at 8:02. It's seriously stressing me. Can I pay you extra to open at 7:50? And they were like, yes. And you're probably not the only parent that needs this. Cool. So they opened at 7:50. So I had an extra 10 minutes and my daughter was already used to giggling and pushing me out the door. So I drove up the street. So instead of standing on the bus, I could get a seat on the bus. When I got a seat on the bus, instead of standing like this, jammed with all the people.
Yes.
I did meditation on the bus.
Beautiful.
20 minutes changed everything. And my team grew to be number 1. Because then I started teaching them all this stuff. On Fridays, we do meditation, breath work, I had my mind right. I had my team right. My energy was good. I was happy. Everything started working because I put me first. You have to do that. If you're busy, if you're stressed, if your schedule is jammed, you might not have any other time at all. So use the early morning. It's Vata time anyway. Remember I told you macrocosm and microcosm? The doshas also rule time. So early morning before the sun comes up. It can even be 10 minutes before the sun comes up when it's kind of dark. You know the energy, it's subtle. Nothing's around. Nobody's awake. It's kind of magical.
It is magical. Yes.
That's it. That's the moment. That's the time. One of the three categories for disease in Ayurveda is the effects of time, which means aging, which means seasons, which means how long you've had a problem.
Yes.
In this case, we're going to use the effect of time, and we're going to put ourselves first thing in the morning. Do what I did. Set your timer for 5 minutes and you go run one direction. And when it goes off, you turn around and you run back. High five yourself. You're done for the day. As far as that goes, go crush it.
Yeah. Yeah. Powerful way to start your day. So you talked about the one effect for illness being time. What are the other two effects?
So the other two causative factors are mistaken intellect. So mistaken intellect is wrong choices and wrong action. Mistaken intellect is coming home at the end of the day, every day. This is me. This is what I used to do. Come home at the end of the day when I was burning out, and I'd grab a glass of wine.
Hey, this is Dr. D. I just wanted to remind you that you can get started on your true wellness journey. Go ahead and check the show notes and grab a link to the True Wellness Checklist. Now, let's get back to the episode.
And I'd have wine, and I'd be with my family, and then I'd have 2 glasses, and then I was up till 11 o'clock working still. Right. And I still needed to get up at like 5:45 to do the friggin' commute. I felt terrible. A right choice would have been like, put on your sneakers and go for a 15-minute walk and then see how you feel.
Yes.
Right? So mistaken intellect is either knowingly or unknowingly doing something that does not serve you. Mistaken intellect, number 1. Number 2 is the misuse of the senses. So we see, we hear, we smell, we taste, we touch. We talked about one of the senses already, the food. We can misuse that sense of taste, eating too much, eating out of ego, eating for the wrong reasons, etc. That's simple. We also touched on another one, which is our phones.
Oh, yes.
Sense of sight and screens that we're overusing our eyes. So when we overuse, underuse, or misuse any of the 5 senses, that causes imbalance. Also, in this day and age, I would say we are underutilizing touch. People are lonely.
True.
They don't get hugs.
Right.
So those are the 3. Mistaken intellect, misuse of the 5 senses, overuse, underuse, or misuse, and the effects of time. Under those 3 categories, everything else follows and is the cause of every disease.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I have a question for you. How do you personally use these things in your life on a day-to-day basis? Like what's the thought process that you go through?
Well, let's keep it simple. For the way I function, I can't not see Ayurveda in everything around.
That's why I'm asking.
Yes. So I know that I need to use time wisely in the morning and I need to sweat. So let's just get that done in my run, which I do still. Okay, get that done. And then as far as food goes, I'm always making sure there are 6 tastes in Ayurveda in the foods. We're not going to get into that too much. But out of those 6 tastes, there are 3 tastes that benefit each dosha the most.
Okay.
Combos, right? So for me, I'm like Vata Pitta. I really am more Vata, really a lot. So I will always focus on making sure that things are salted, sour, and sweet. And by sweet taste, it means grains, meats, dairy, oils, nuts. All those things fall under the sweet category because the sweet category in Ayurveda just means builder for the body, builds the body.
Okay. Doesn't mean sugar.
It can mean sugar. It can mean sugar. It would fall under the category like fruit falls under the sweet category unless it's like a grapefruit, in which case that would be sour. Which I love. So I like pickles, salty and sour. because that increases my digestive fire.
Yes.
Telling you, Dr. D, we could talk for a month straight.
Yes.
So I'm always managing my digestive fire because it's not strong. It's variable, just like vata is. It's sometimes I eat like a crazy person and sometimes like I don't for a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
Random. But the function of digestive fire is to be regulated. So I'm always looking at, am I moving? Am I sweating? Am I warm enough? Do I have enough spices on my food? For those of you out there that are like, wait, there's doshas in food. Yes. Make sure there's enough colors on your plate. Make sure that what you're choosing is chosen from nature, that you know what this food is, and that you're not looking at a label that has all kinds of confusing things on it. You probably know that by now, but just a reminder. Make sure that your plate is not all brown. Make sure that things come from a good source. And at the same token, don't stress yourself if what your best today is the best you can do today. Please do not stress about that. The happiest thing you can put in your food is your joy and gratitude that you have food.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I do meditation. If I'm stressed out, here's a tip for everybody. If I stress out, I hit the floor. I just lay on the floor on my back. Because if I'm spinning like this, and I already know I'm vata in the space in here, I will just lay flat on my back on the floor and I'll set a 15-minute timer. And maybe I lay there and breathe, and maybe I fall asleep. And then I'm good. Coffee is very vata imbalancing. I don't have coffee anymore. It gives me a crushing headache. And it was causing like all kinds of digestion problems too.
It does that.
Yeah. So I don't have that, but I have my tea or I have Dandy Blend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what other choices I make. I know it's the food. Oh, we have to love who's in our household. That's
Yeah.
part of daily Ayurveda. You have to love, like, Ayurveda is all about longevity and the people that we serve and the people that we love. That's what makes life good. So I feed the dog before I feed myself. That is Ayurvedic. I serve my daughter before I eat. That's Ayurvedic. I play music when I cook, putting love into the food. That's
Oh,
Ayurvedic. It's a lot of stuff that I do that you would just be like, nobody would know.
yeah. But I love that you've thought through all these different ways because people get stressed out. They're like, oh my gosh, well, I can't incorporate any of this into my life. Well, it's really hard to play music while you're cooking food.
No,
Right?
and whistle a little bit.
Yeah. Or just be like mindful and thankful, like before you eat, like, thank you for the food that's in front of me. Like these are easy things that we can actually be more mindful of and incorporate. And
Yeah.
these little tiny changes can actually shift the way that we feel throughout the course of our day. They have a big impact cumulatively.
Yeah, don't discount them. Just try them. And
Mhm.
as you get good at them, you can add more things. That's all I did. I just started adding and adding, like the 10-minute run. Now I'm outside for 30 to 40 minutes. The dog also doesn't want to run that long. So I go for a shorty with her and then I'll go for a longer one. I'll drop her off and I'll go for a little longer. But they do compound,
Yeah.
right? And then the final thing I just want them to know is bed by 10 o'clock.
What? Bed by 10 o'clock. People are scratching their heads. They're like, no way.
True,
I
true,
know I struggle with this with clients all the time. I struggle with it myself sometimes, especially with the time change. I'm like,
No.
wait, it's 10 o'clock already?
Can I tell you why?
Yes, ma'am.
The doshas rule time.
Mhm.
So um, when the sun is going down, it starts kapha time. So
Okay.
after work, we don't want to do more work. We're not really inspired to do that. We also don't want to work out because it's kapha time. It's slow energy. It's loving energy. Be with the family. It's hobby time. It's cook time. Maybe snuggle in. Maybe do some reading. Light things like because your body's preparing to go to bed. But
Yeah.
around 10 o'clock p.m. Now this is going to depend on the season and all of that jazz. But just say 10 o'clock p.m.
Mhm.
I want everybody out there to think if you're somebody who's tired before 10 and then stays up a little after around 10 or 10:30, then you get a second wind and there's no stopping you. You're thinking about work, you're organizing your sock drawer, you are like on it, you're all of a sudden awake and you're like, I'm a nighttime person. And I'm going to say, not really. You just missed the threshold because now you're in pitta time.
Aha.
Pitta digests our foods, thoughts, emotions while we sleep,
Mm.
transforms everything while we sleep. And so if we put ourselves to sleep in that kapha time between sunset and 10 p.m., we're going to sleep pretty good because it's heavy energy. We're going to sleep in the heavy energy. We're like, thank you, nature, and good night. But if we're like knocking around our house and doing whatever, or being on our screens and getting distracted, losing track of time, scrolling, whatever, if we're doing that, 10:30, 11 o'clock comes around, pitta's already started. So pitta time is like, I'm going to transform your foods, your thoughts, and your emotions. I'm doing my job, whether you're awake or not. If you're not sleeping, it's going to do that when you're awake. You're going to get pissed off at something that happened. You're going to get mad at somebody because your mind is trying to process the things, but you're awake. It causes all kinds of sleep problems.
Okay. In bed before 10.
Yes, which is why you can get up early because you've slept good.
And
Right?
so when should you wake up?
Well, Vata time. So Vata is between like 2 a.m. and sunrise. So you want to wake up in the dark just a little bit. Don't be mad that I said that. I know that's kind of hard, but it's not that bad if you're going to bed at the right time. They go together, right? So you want to wake up in the dark. When sunrise happens, guess what time it is? Kapha time. So if you miss the window of waking in Vata time, you're going to wake up in Kapha time, which is slow and heavy. And then everybody's like, I'm not a morning person. I'm like, well, maybe you could be if you didn't get up in Kapha time because it's slow and heavy. When you wake up in Vata time, you literally have the wind in your sails all day.
Wow. Makes a really big difference, doesn't it? Because then, yeah, if you're waking up late, you're tired then for the rest of the day. You're dragging through your day.
Yeah. And then people will have a lot of coffee because they're like, I'm so tired. I need something. I need to sleep good. And then they're over caffeinated. They can't freaking fall asleep. Do you see how it just keeps going? And then
Yeah.
they're like, well, now I got to call my doctor and then I got to go take a pill because I can't sleep. Well, now that pill has side effects. So now I'm on 2 pills. Well, now I'm on 5 because I didn't go to bed at 10. People, can we do better?
We can do better for sure. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the story.
I love it. I love it. I love it. What tell me some of the golden nuggets. Like what are some of the things that people should really be aware of that really move the dial? Like going to bed by 10. What else really moves the dial?
I mean, I've talked a lot about I've talked about a lot of them. A lot of them.
Yeah.
It is bed by 10. It is wake before the sun, if you can. There's exceptions to every rule. If you're elderly, you're sick, you're a child, you're pregnant, there's exceptions, right?
Sure.
Or if you're sick, everything. So, but if you're fairly healthy and you're just having some issues, try just doing one of those things
Yeah.
and see if other things start to unravel. Just as we can slowly decline because we're making these choices, because it's mistaken intellect, right? We don't always know. Who knows Ayurveda? Me. Nobody else. I mean, I'm trying, but not everybody knows it. It's not their fault. So, but just as we can easily decline, as soon as you change one of those things, oh, now this gets better, this gets better, this gets better. You don't really know why. You can't really figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets better. You feel better. Just like my morning run with the bus and with the daycare. And then I got a seat on the bus and I did meditation on the bus. And then my team turned around. I had energy. I felt so much better. It was 20 minutes it was a 10-minute run and a 10-minute ask.
And it changed your life.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
And it was free.
Yes. That's the best part, right?
Yes.
Love that. I love
Yes.
that. I love
So
that.
the other thing do you want like the 3 takeaways?
Yeah, let's talk about those. The 3 things that will help people move the dial that are actionable, that will create shifts for them.
Okay. Number 1, think of a time when you felt most like you. You were happy. You were doing something that felt in your soul. Things were flowing. Everything was good. What were you doing? What was your lifestyle like? What were you eating? How were you moving your body? How were you sleeping? Where were you sleeping? Like, were you in Hawaii? In an igloo? Where were you when all that was happening? If you feel bad or a little off now, look at that time of your life and you go back to that list and you start incorporating those things straight away. Because that points to you were in your element, you were in your thing, you were in your jam, you were probably doing everything that was really close to your balance of dosha of what makes you feel good.
Love
And
it.
only you can answer that question. So do that. Number 2, sweat daily. I already talked about that. You got to sweat. We don't enough. And that's why we get all these other problems because we're not expelling one of the 3 waste products that needs to be expelled every single day. And number 3 is my favorite. It is this. Relax. You're exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. Whether you are crushing it, whether you are a hot freaking mess, it doesn't matter. You need to relax. You're not broken. You're not going to fall apart. There was always going to be something that comes from the inside of you or something that comes from the outside world that will help you, that will teach you, and that will change you. So you need to relax.
Yeah.
Please do not panic about where you're at in your life, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. We forget that. I got to tell you, relax is the one on my list too that I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to relax. I got to relax. Wait, I got to relax.
Yeah. And it's a relax from like trust. It's almost like trust, right? Like just trust.
Yeah.
Trust. You're good or you're not good, but that's okay because you're listening to this podcast. Now you can do something about it.
Awesome. I love that. Love that. Love that. Monica, I know that you're always posting amazing, quick, easy tips on your Instagram. And I know that our listeners have access to your gift that is in the show notes here. Tell us, how can they find those quick and easy tips on Instagram, and tell us about your gift in the show notes.
Yeah, so you can find me, Hey Monica B on Instagram, or I also have a YouTube channel with lots of trainings there, and I'm starting to re-add more now. And then in the notes below, you can get a little freebie about your dosha. So you can read about, they're called the dosha snapshots. Check those out. And then also for Dr. D, I do have an Ayurveda 101 little mini course, and it's like $27. And you will learn so much from this little baby course that if you just did everything in that course for a year, you stellar, like you kind of need to do nothing else. So in Ayurveda, it is a willingness of the client.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my job as a healer. I stand on the path and I shine the flashlight. It is your job to walk on that path, not mine.
I love that. I love that. And these are great, easy ways to help people get involved. I mean, $27. It's silly. If it could change your life, why not?
Why not? Right.
Awesome.
It's funny. It's kind of funny how we think about things, right? If it changed your life, $27. It should be like, what if it was $27,000?
That would be okay too, quite honestly.
So weird. So weird. But listen, I love giving people an easy entry point. I want this to be accessible and friendly. And I want people to know that they are loved by me, even if I don't know them, and I'm here to help them. So that's why it is the way it is.
That's awesome. Do you want to share about your current project that you're working on too?
Oh, yes. I would love to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is just fun and it's a little different, but I am building an emotional and mental well-being van for the people of Los Angeles, especially after the wildfires. So I live in LA or outside of LA, and that was really traumatic. In addition, it's not just fires that are traumatic for us. We all have traumas and we all have really hard things, and we don't really know necessarily how to process them. So I'm building this van, and it's going to be an uplift, a rejuvenation truck and experience for people of Los Angeles. And I'm going to reach out to farmers markets and businesses and companies. And there's some that are already saying yes. And I'm going to roll up and help the people.
I love that. I love that. Thank you for who you are and the gifts you bring to the world and your commitment to truly, truly just helping people. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And everyone be sure to follow Hey Monica B, and go ahead and grab that course there as well, so that you can start to incorporate some of these things into your life. And with that, everyone, we'll see you all next time. Thank you. This is Dr. D reminding you to tune into your body, connect with what matters, and embrace the journey to true wellness. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who's ready to redefine their health. Be sure to grab a copy of the True Wellness Checklist right in the show notes. Let's keep redefining wellness and empowering change together. See you for the next episode.